This video is meant to help you with the writing process step for this week. So this week we are looking to choose a topic and then to do some thinking about that topic through pre-writing and research, or at least some initial research. So the first thing that we want to do with this step is to choose a topic, and this is really going back into the topic list that we made last week and choosing one topic, one consumer artifact to continue the process with. Keeping in mind that you can always go back and change your topic. You can pick something else later, and in fact, this week's work with your chosen topic will help you to decide whether it is a topic that you want to continue with, whether it has enough to say for this assignment and that you continue to be interested in exploring the meanings of your consumer artifact. So once you have chosen a potential topic, then what I would like you to do is to do some general pre-writing. And general pre-writing is just some writing about your topic as a way to do some initial thinking about your topic. It's using writing as a thinking tool. And so I have a number of questions here that I would like you to answer. And by answering these set of questions, you'll do that initial thinking about your topic. And like I said, also determining whether this is an appropriate topic for you. So once you've done some general pre-writing, gotten some thoughts down on paper, what I'd like you to do is to do some initial research on your chosen topic. And research is going to be a part of most of our formal writing for the semester, and it should come early in the process. It should come up later in the process. It'll just be an ever-present part of our process. And so here early on, what we want to do is we want to explore our topic through research to see if we can find anything interesting about our topic. Usually this initial research is focused on the history of your artifact. A great way to better understand the meaning of your artifact today is to look at its history. Where does your artifact come from? How has it been used throughout its history? And more importantly, what is its social and cultural meaning over its history? Now, granted, we are really in this essay focused on the meaning that your artifact has presently. So what does it mean today? But looking back at its history may help us to better understand what social and cultural significance it has today. So what does it say about the person who uses it? What does it say about that person's values? What kinds of values and identity is this artifact expressing about the person who uses it? And these, the social and cultural significance of an artifact can change over time. And so it's a nice place to begin our exploration through research, by taking a look at, or at least trying to find some resources about the history of your artifact. Now, this is exploring the history of your artifact may not be appropriate for the artifact that you chose if it does not have much history, and that's fine. But if your artifact has been around for a little while, this would be a great way to do some initial thinking about your artifact. So as a way to do this initial research, what I've done is I have linked here our library guide. This library guide can also be found from a link on our course homepage under course resources. But if we click onto this, it will bring us to our library guide for the semester. And what this is, it's just an easy portal to some of the resources the library has to offer for us this semester. Specifically, it does, if we take a look at the tabs here for this library guide, it has a tab that lists the series of library databases that will be most useful for us in our research. We have the Academic Search Complete, which is our big general database. Might be the great place to begin exploration of your topic. We have the database that offers the major newspapers in the country, so the New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, etc. So it will give you access to these newspapers and all the articles that are contained in those papers. We have the Opposing Viewpoints in Context database. This database is not going to be as useful for us here in this first paper. It's more for the third formal essay for the assignment, but it might be an interesting database to look at here for this first paper as well. The CQQ Researcher is yet another database that is as useful for us, though again, I think this one may be a bit more useful for that third formal essay. Master File Complete, another useful database for full text magazines. This one might be useful for this particular assignment, another kind of general database like these first two, but focusing more on magazines. And so depending on your topic, this might be an interesting database to explore. And then finally, we have Statista, which is a great database for quantitative data. So take a look at it. It just might be a great place to go for some statistics on your artifact, if that's what you're looking for. So these are all links to library databases. You have access to these databases as an NPC student, and if you are logged in to your account, then you get access to these things at your home. So take a look at those, explore those. They should be a great place to find some initial information and perhaps even some significance and meaning of your artifact. So some other resources that the library offers us, it does have books. Specifically for us, I think the ebook collection would be another great place to go, depending on your topic for potential sources. It also gives us some places to go for documentaries. Yes, documentaries are a perfectly appropriate resource to use and a source to include in your paper. And then it has a tab focused on MLA citation. So how do you cite your sources? So these two handouts are great places to begin to understand how we go about bringing in outside sources, both effectively and appropriately. So take a quick glance at those here today, though we will get more into these a little bit later in the process. But it's good to know some of this stuff early on, because you will be asked to cite all of your sources, both in your text and then also include a works cited page. So knowing what information you need for each one of your sources early on would be a good idea. It may be a little bit early for this, but again, I would take a few minutes just to take a look at these handouts, just to be aware of that obligation. So if we take a look back at the process here, once you've done some initial research of your topic, then it's time to do some more focused pre-writing. And here is where you do some more writing as a way to think about your topic. And it really is getting into the context of the assignment. It's pushing you towards finding what you want to focus your essay on. What meaning do you think your artifact has within our culture? So it gives you, again, a series of questions to ask yourself as a way to further explore your topic within the context of the assignment. Once you've done this writing, and again, all of this writing that we've done so far, both the general and the focused pre-writing, is not your rough draft. It is pre-writing. So this is coming out of our reading from last week. This is any kind of writing that you do before you sit down to write the rough draft, and it's meant to be informal writing that's used to help you think. So really don't worry about things like grammar or word choice or whether your ideas are even good. Just get those ideas down on paper when they come to you. So you're just trying to gather information, gather ideas, allow your thinking to progress. So when you get an idea down on paper, it may lead to another idea that leads to another idea. So again, just doing some writing to help you think here early in the process. And we'll use this material. We'll use the material that applies, that we can use for our essay later in the process. So this material could be used, but it's not the rough draft, not yet. And then once you've done that focused pre-writing, it's time to focus in on what you actually want to say in your essay. And so it's time to write out, or at least attempt to write out, a sentence that captures what the essay will be focused on. And here we are really talking about writing a thesis statement. Now, the next page in the module will go over various aspects of how to write an effective thesis. But here I just want to say that keep in mind that your thesis needs to be focused on the social and cultural significance of your artifact. In other words, saying something about how this artifact represents identity for those who use it, or what the values of that individual who uses the artifact. So what does it say about the person who uses this artifact? And what does it say about perhaps the community that we find it in, or the society that this artifact is used in? And then also keep in mind that this is just a tentative working thesis. So you're just trying to get your idea down on paper so you know which direction your essay is going, but by no means is this going to be the thesis in its final state. You'll have time to revise this thesis as you continue the process, new information comes in, you have a better understanding of what you really want to do, and then we can also work on wording and grammar as well. So really, again, the spirit of this week is ideas and driving your thinking forward. Once you have your thesis, then it is time to start assembling what your support will be for that thesis. And so it is about going back into that research, finding some further sources to help support your thesis, thinking about looking back at your pre-writing, seeing if you have any good examples or ideas there that help support your thesis, and just trying to start thinking about how you're going to support your big idea. Once again, all of this is not going to be your rough draft, though some of this and maybe even a lot of this material might make an appearance once we get to that step. All right, this is a lot of work here for this week, really important work. It may not seem like it because it's not the rough draft yet, but this is really where we get our ideas. We come up with our ideas, we do our thinking, and then next week we will move this material into a more linear structure in the form of an outline, and then finally write that rough draft. All right, everybody, good luck, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to assist.